think about learning styles, in fact in the 80s and 90s there was this whole NLP thing, neuro-linguistic programming, where people thought you were an auditory learner or a visual learner or a kinesthetic learner, which in other words you had a certain preferred modality. And this idea of learning styles has proliferated and become sort of accepted in many forms, but the fact is we all learn in different ways. A lot of people, for example, get turned off by abstract theory. So they hear something that is an idea or posited as a theoretical concept, and it just doesn't land, it just doesn't fit into the way that they think. The moment you include an example or a story, suddenly, bing, the lights come on and they're engaged. So in other words, they look for a sensate, more tangible reference of application rather than theoretical consideration. They're just two different styles of how people process information. So a facilitator needs to know this. Needs to be able to calibrate and read the room and determine where and when it's appropriate to incorporate and include story, for example. If I'm dealing with a room full of academics, I can tell you they get bored with stories. I don't need another story. If I'm dealing with people that have got a practical, real-world focus, stories are everything. In fact, less on the theory, more on the story would be what turns their lights on. So it's about understanding with groups and individuals where and when you adjust the way you're going to put the ideas or the skills into their neurology for consideration and application.